Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to True Crime and Justice, the home of the missing and sometimes the mysterious. Hi there, everyone. If you're new to this channel, if you've only just found this channel, hello, you're welcome. Please come and join us in chat. If you're watching on replay, please like this video. That's all I ask. There's two things I ask, and that is to A, like the video, and B, subscribe. And both things cost absolutely nothing. This channel is not monetized. It will never be monetized. Like my last channel I had before it got deleted by YouTube. Anyway, that was never monetized, and neither will this one be. So, for the past few weeks or so, I've been looking at the scientists and who've gone missing or turned up unalive. And then they released all those documents that we started to look at last night. And I found out then last night that they're apparently releasing more documents. Oh. I haven't even got through half of it. So, my question tonight is, what has these documents about the UAPs, as I call them now, and not UFOs, got to do with the missing or unalived scientist, if anything? That's my question. Do you think what they's working on? Because they all work for even NASA or something in that line, jet propulsion people, anti-gravity, you name it, they was working it. And so it just makes you wonder, did they know too much? And was they deleted either by a home alphabet organisation, or was they deleted because foreign country wanted them to work with them and they've said no? Or did they go into hiding? Hi, Anne. Did they go into hiding because there's a video I was just watching now, and it's still going now, but no, it isn't. It's finished. Sorry, that was finished. But I have downloaded it, and we're not watching that tonight. We've got a few about. Hold on, I'll tell you in a minute. What was his name again? Oh, hold on. Travis Walton, right? And I think I've got that one downloaded. Yeah. So we're going to take a look at that tonight. And I go through everything today, everything. Videos, downloading them, trying to put together mind. It's all got to do with it. Right, what's it all got to do? Is it two different areas? One, the scientists have just turned up missing or alive for other reasons, and B, these files that have just been released, is that a separate scenario? Or is these files that have been released got anything to do with maybe them going missing? Right? Perhaps I didn't want this info out there. Perhaps I did. It's hard to say. And the only people who know the truth are either unalived or missing. Those are the only two people that know if they've got anything to do with this UFO, UAP, scenario. So, anyway, before we get started, hope you all had a lovely day, whatever time of day it is, wherever you are in the world while watching this. Finally, I got out there today. I cut my lawn yesterday. An hour and a half it took me to cut my back garden lawn with a hover mower. My son said, "Shouldn't take you that long, Mum." I mean, fucking wow, does. You've only got a little patch of grass in the back garden because I feel sorry because it's mainly all slabbed. And it's got this patch of grass. And it looks nice, don't get me wrong, it looks lovely. But I feel sorry for the kids. But then again, at least if it's been wet and raining, they can still play outside because they're not going to get all muddy and dirty because it's mainly all slabbed. And I said, "You've only got a small front garden." I've got a big front garden, which I still haven't mowed yet. I was thinking about doing it earlier. We had some nice weather. Then I couldn't be bothered. I was so tired. Because I've been up since what time this morning? Some stupid hour. Right. I've been awake from some silly hour and then I go up at some stupid hour. So I was really tired. So I just like shut my eyes for an hour or so. It doesn't help when you do that. Really doesn't. Because you wake up still groggy. Anyway, I managed to get out and put the canes in that my son brought me for my sweet peas. And then I got this meshing. What is it? Oh, what do they call it now? But it's like metal meshing. And I wrapped this around the canes. And I've been twiddling all the sweet peas up through them. He brought me 2 more trailing plants yesterday. So I put them in with my other plant. And my one plant, I feel so bad. When I see my daughter's plant, it's lovely. Yeah, she's got the same plant as me. You look at my plant and it's like, come on, are you going to grow for me? I know the cats had a go at you, but the cats aren't here now. They can't get you. Just fucking grow. Right? And then my granddaughter came over as well this afternoon. And my son came over and done the strimming all around my edge of my gardens, all along this one little edge board, I think, along the side of my house. And just tidied all my garden up from around the edges. Yeah, it's horrible. Unless I have a good 3-4 hours sleep, right, in the day, and say I went and had to lie down about 2 o'clock and woke about 5, 6, then fine, I'm okay. But when I'm only lying on the sofa and I'm only grabbing 45 minutes, no good. So apparently, their guinea pigs love dandelions. I went, bring them over mine. Let them run free around my garden. I've got loads of dandelions. So my granddaughter came over with her dad and her mum, and she picked up a bowl. I got one of them plastic like mixing bowls, filled it with dandelions. Don't give them all at once because it's not good for them. Right? So they've took them. I said, you can get some more next week. They're banking more grown by then. So my front garden's looking a little bit better because there's not so many dandelions no more. But I've still got to go and cut it. So if it's nice enough tomorrow, I might cut my front lawn. But I want to finish working on my slabs at the back. I want to get the back garden finished You know what I mean? All the slabs cleaned up and swept, and so then I can go out there and sit out there and think, you know what, this garden's nice now, I can sit out here. At the moment, I don't want to sit out there because it's full of weeds on my path. It's full of weeds. And I know I've got to get them all up, and I've been doing a little bit each day. I did some yesterday, did quite a bit yesterday. My son done some today, and my granddaughter's trying to do some. Trying her best. Right. Then I did some, but I still haven't swept them up. They're just in a pile. I said, do not push them towards the wall. He said, I'm not. I said, don't push them towards the wall. Because then the seeds and whatever get down in the cracks again. I've got more freaking weeds growing there. But apparently there's a plant growing in my back garden. And I might take a photograph of it tomorrow. And find out what plant it is. If it is a nice plant, then I'll keep it there. If it's not, the weed killer's going on it. And then my son said to me today, he said, who used weed killer on your front garden, Mum? I went, no one. Then I looked out the window and I seen where the weed killer was. I went, oh, well, it go killing the dandelions off on the area which I wanted to go over anyway. He said, yeah, but it's caught quite a little bit of your grass, Mum. I went, oh dear, it'll grow back. You know what I mean? But you can actually see where the weed killers worked on my garden. So, anyway, so we're going to look into that. Watch some videos tonight. Because I've been going through them documents. And it's literally the same all the way through. Some of the better documents are near the end. In the, like, file 16 and things like that. And file 15. I think, like, from 10 to 16, them are the better files. Because that's where you're getting up into the 70s and whatever, 80s, and even 2023. I was going to say 1923 again, no, 2023. So we will go back and look at those documents, but just not tonight. I just feel I need to have a break from looking at documents. So, I don't know, I'll put it up on here. I should be able to go. I've got to find my, I've got to go into my, and then, oh, I won't be on tomorrow night. I'm saying that now. Son-in-law is supposed to be coming over tomorrow after work, and he can work till 6, 7 o'clock some nights. Right? So it could be 7, 8 p.m. before he gets to mine. Hopefully he comes tomorrow night, Thursday. If he comes Thursday, it's tough. I'm on my live. But tomorrow night I won't be on because he is supposed to be coming and they're supposed to be putting the posts in. Not the fencing, not the panels up, just the posts. Because he wants to cement them in. Well, put the spikes in or whatever. And so the posts can go in first. And then when he's got the posting, he'll sort the panels out. Now my neighbour was really good. He gave me a stack of panels, fence panels yesterday. Not yesterday, the day before. Sunday, was it Saturday? Sunday? Was it Sunday? Yeah. Saturday. Gave me a stack of them. It has saved me a fortune. So he's got to do that because I'm having their dog for a few days, you see, in August. So that I can let the dog in the morning, and you can go and do his bit after him and clean it up. Things like that, or just sit out there with him without to be on. The moment when he comes, he has to stand there, face there, and the little fecker will run off. Oh, well, I'll get my downloads. So that's done. Thank you, Anne. I have got a. Where's my banger? Yeah, I've got this one. I've got this one. I can only have one banner up at a time now. It's a bit annoying. I have one at the top and one at the bottom. That'd be better. So I'll stick with now. Oh, fuck off. Oh, come on, let me scroll down. Well, it's been raining. It was raining this morning because I saw my son's mother-in-law going to work at about 6:15. I to my son all weeks ago because she didn't leave his house till like 4:30 one day. And I know why, because he was having a barbecue. Plus, she's probably hoping to get a lift up to work. Anyway, I said she left it late leaving today. He said, no, he said she can walk up there in 20 minutes. I said, so why does she leave at 15:15 when she's being at mine? You know what I mean? So I seen her about 6:15. I was just standing in my kitchen having my coffee. That's what I mean. I was up at silly hour, having my coffee, just watching the wheel go, and I seen her walk past with her umbrella. And I thought, that umbrella is not going to last you forever, girl. You was born in Scotland, and you have not realised yet umbrellas and Scotland do not go together. They don't. I brought a really, really good one, and it was brilliant for the winter nights because when it was raining, if you had your umbrella up, the car lights would reflect off this little, like underneath your umbrella, the inside of the umbrella. There's like this reflection, and you couldn't see it. I don't know where it was, but it would reflect the light off. The car's lights would reflect off it. So, yeah, we had some rain this morning, and then my son said, I don't know if I'll do the streaming today because of the weather. So I went over, and I said, I've only come over for the clippers to cut the wire. Right? So that's when they all come over then to do the streaming. And he helped me put my wire up and all my cane sticks up. And did I tell you last night, my sunflowers are the small bushy sunflowers. Didn't realise that. But I thought, well, I've never had them ones before, so that's fine. At least I haven't got to get canes. Because I had 20, how many did I have of them? 12 of them. Or was it 11? 11 sunflowers. That's 11 canes I'd have to get. But because they're not the tall ones, they're like the small but bushy with the big head. It's supposed to have a big head, not just, right? And I thought, well, I've still got more for next year, so I can use them up as well next year. But yeah, we've got rain again at the moment. It stopped and then it started again. So I don't know what's happening with our weather. I really don't. Do that download. Just shows how sad a person I am as well. Because I was watching Sky News this morning from about, what, 6:30, 7 o'clock. I think it was about 8 o'clock. During hour, and the interviewers, the news reporters and everything outside number 10. They was all hoping that he'd come out with his statement saying he's stepping down. Not happened. Right, where is it? Where's that video I said that? Oh, I've also got a video here about what Artemis 2 saw beyond the moon, that right? Now, there is something in the files I read today about, I'm sure it's that one. So, we can look at that video another day, as well as what it says in the documents. Right, Bob Laser. Oh no, not Travis Walton, sorry. Bob Laser's UFO file. Bob Laser's 1989 interview. We've also got the Travis Walton one. Right? Which is Bob Laser, because he's mentioned it a lot in this one video I was watching tonight. Which one was he? I don't even know which one it was that I was watching that. I heard it all. So, hold on. I've got videos here about the Roswell crash, UFO cover-ups and other stuff. UFO Reporter Part 1, the files of George Knapp. So, anyway, we're going to watch the one. Well, actually, we could probably fit the two ones in. The Bob Lasers one and the Travis Walton one in. Because this one's only 28 minutes, the other one's only 30 minutes. Hold on. We're getting in the right place. I must just start from the beginning because otherwise it's just stupid. So it's going to be lovely at the end of May. Well, I hope so. Because I moved to a nice little cottagey house. I've been working hard on my garden over the past year, you know what I mean? Couldn't get much done last year because by the time we moved in, right, and we started to get the gardens down to a nice level where you could actually see, oh, it is grass. And now you look at it and think, oh, it isn't grass, it's weeds, it's dandelions. They are the bane of my life. Dandelions. I hate them. So, I want to be able, like, I was going to get my table and chair this month, but I don't know. Because as I said, I want to get my the slabs and everything done first. And by the time I've finished one area, they've all come back in the area again. You know what I mean? It's like that for bridge. By the time you get to one side of the bridge, you've got to start it again. So, the newest episode, I really need one of those run along the slabs that rip the fucking roots out. And then my son, like when I saw an hour and a half to do my lawn, I said, yes, because I'm going to go over it. I said, and that horror is not even cutting the dandelions down, and it's just flattening. It literally goes over them and flattens them. Not even taking the heads off half of them. Not even the little daisies. The daisies are sitting there in the garden going, we're not bothered. It's not going to hurt us. It's just going to skim over us. That's why I said I need it lowered down. Oh, come on. Why ain't this working for me? Oh, get off my screen. Why? Get off. About Restream is I can't, if I miss chat messaging in chat, it's very hard to scroll back messages. It's fuck off. Now I've got to right click it so I can close it because it's a pain in the end. Oh, come on. Put me in a little cross there so I can click on it and fuck you up. Come on. To be able to scroll down with my mouse just by running up. And that ain't going to close down for some reason. It's a stupid fucking app. I've clicked on something and it's upon the side of my laptop. So wait until it gives me the chance to close it down. That little cross to click on. And you're sitting there waiting for that little cross to come up so you can click it off. On it and get the fuck out of there. So anyway, we're going to watch this. I knew, and we'll see what they say, okay? Because I think Bob's name gets brought up in that. As I said, it does get brought up in another video I was watching. Right, so let's just get started.
George Knapp looks back at that night, started a whole new conversation.
It's impossible. Distance and
it's coming up on my. Let's just alter this again. Right. Come on. Don't want to work for me tonight. This. Thank you. Right, let's move it up there in that corner. Up you go. Thank you. No, actually, I'll move over here. Because I'm going to go full screen, you see. It's gone full screen. Mine, we won't go full screen. Thank you. Fuck's sake. Oh, God, I missed a message, so I'm going to have that. I'm good. I was just saying, my son came over and he skimmed all my back garden around the edges and everything. And tied all the edges up for me, which is a godsend. I've managed to put some wire meshing around my canes for my sweet peas. And I said, why do they call them sweet peas? That's another question. Because we don't get peas off them. You get a nice little flower, which you can use in salads and things like that. But why do they call them sweet peas. Why not sweet flower? Or sweet petals? Why sweet peas? Ah, we love to see you here, Nero. We miss you when you're not here. Anyway, so I got all them sorted. Had a word with my plant that my cats got to. And I said, please, look, the cats aren't here no more. They can't get to you. Will you fucking grow? And my son's going, you're not watering these plants, Mum. Well, I went out there last night and I watered them, right? And I thought, I'm not going to put no more water in that one because you could see it was taking its time to sink down. Because the soil is still very wet underneath. So I put a bit more water in today and I thought, nah, no more, because it's still wet underneath. So, yeah, he's a good lad. When he wants to be. But you know, it's like when I'm playing about with my granddaughter, right, and we're in the kitchen, and she's play fighting with me, like fisted for play fighting. And she goes, Dad, help me. And he looks at her and goes, am I nuts? Do you think I'm crazy? And she just giggles. I said, he knows best, sweetheart.
A gravity propulsion system, the power source is an
This is
anti-metal
Bob Laser.
reactor. This technology does not exist at all.
Plane sounded like Hollywood sci-fi. Months later, when his identity was revealed at a facility near Groom Lake, where alien technology reverse engineered, that is, taken apart to figure out how it worked and whether one could duplicate.
And did you know that when they went to check it out, right, where he worked and all that lot, his name is down there as being there, right? But the institution or whatever said, no, he never worked here. Never worked here. But his name's down here. Oh, yeah, he worked here for a little while.
This is the simple thing he made at the time.
Access was permitted to view and look at the operation of this with the gravity amplifiers and the level below.
The premise seems less preposterous now. In a new about Lazar, he describes in detail
Yeah, we are great.
the spacecraft he worked on 30 years ago.
I don't want it to rain.
The craft
The
that I worked
dandelions
on,
like
that when
rain.
when
I hate
it's going to
dandelions.
travel a long distance, that is how it operates. It flies along and it puts its belly to the target and then brings all the amplifier power in.
I think this is because I've got it on full screen, yeah.
It shoots off in that direction. It doesn't fly as a science fiction movie. With the belly, the bottom forward.
If the description of a spacecraft UFO, a
Put it up.
video released by the Pentagon, 17 naval pilots.
Honest to God. Yeah, I don't want it to rain because rain makes some dandelions grow. And I hate dandelions. They are the bane of my life. Has put up 135 solar bulbs. No, I've heard it, put up 135 solar bulbs, 50, 59, 25. 10, so not too long, too hot doing it. Like 50, I put up Saturday. I want to get some more solar lights to go around my fence. Right? And even along, like, the back of the house, on the, like the fascia of it, where you got the, oh, you got the guttering, and then you got a fascia under that. I want some solar lights on there as well. But everyone, like, I've got these Rottingham lights, what they call firefly lights. I love them. You can knock them, bend them, they don't break. And they cost me $9.99 for 2. My son goes out the other day to Home Bargains, buys a set of 2, pack of 2. Guess how much he paid? £5 something. I went, feck off. I've just spent 20 quid on my 4 fecking lights. You know what I mean? And he went out and spent a £5 on 2. In Amazon, it's like 10 quid for 2 pack of 2. I'll tell you something, I'm so hot when I go to bed, it's unbelievable. And I can't have my window open because of my fucking cats. Plus, being in a cottage, I don't like the fact of a window being open in case anyone can climb in. Right? So, I'm going to take my little fan in with me tonight. And I might put a hook in the wall. No, I won't do it tonight. I'll just put it by the side of my bed tonight and have it on. But tomorrow I'm going to put a hook in the wall. So then I can hang it up on the wall above me. Right, so it keeps me cool. Cooking. So, but this is why I'm waking up, because I wake up and I get hot, so I throw the covers off me. I must admit, right, you won't believe it when I tell you, when I go to bed, I've got this fleecy cover on my bed, right? So I'm not getting onto a cold sheet no more, because I hated that coldness. I used to love it, but I found that was setting my legs off from cramping. So I've got this fleecy thing on. Then, because my son and daughter-in-law brought me a Highland Cow duvet cover set, right? It's cotton. Oh, no. I don't know if it's cotton. I think it's cotton. But it's cold on my skin. So I've got another fleecy blanket over me. So I've got one underneath me, one over me, the duvet cover, and then my bedthrow. And I cannot sleep at night without my bedthrow being over me. I have to have that on me as well. I can't sleep otherwise. I really can't. And so I think that's probably why I get too hot. So I kick the blankets off me, then I go cold. So I just pull the fleecy blanket over me. But then I get cold again, so I'm pulling the duvet over me. And then I can't sleep because I haven't got my big blanket over me, so I'm pulling that over me. And then I'm getting too hot again. And I think, this is a nightmare. Fuck's sake, just let me get some sleep. So that is me. 2 fleecy blankets, one I lie on, one below and one above me. Duvet and a throw. Nice warm throw. That's why I love it in the winter. I'm so cozy in that bed in the winter.
A fleet of the unknown craft coast of Florida in 2015 and have since had dozens of similar encounters. The spike in UFO prompted a recent policy change by the Navy.
Is on with Restream. Put my video up. Thank you.
announced it wants to encourage its pilots to report future official reluctantly admitted to the New York Times 17 months ago that the military has
Hasn't used it yet as common.
secretly studied UFO incidents, in part so it might figure out technology.
There's a mechanism turn against the wind with deceleration. So we have a craft without rotors, without heat signatures, without plume, without tail fins, and certainly no tail number, moving in that is counterintuitive to our own aeronautics. When Bob came to the conclusion this gravity-propelled craft
What else can it be?
mimic exactly the propulsion system.
Boy, it's extraordinary.
Jeremy Corbell directed the Lazar documentary, but he also broke the story about another famous UFO incident, the 2004 Tic Tac encounter. The Navy
I've got to put my heating on if I'll be have snow.
pilot who engaged the Tic Tac, Black Ace's commander, has said he doesn't believe the astonishing craft was made on Earth, that the propulsion might be anti-gravity. When Lazar was shown the Tic Tac video for the first time, it
To be honest with you, I haven't seen nothing about the weather.
immediately reminded him of the sport model, his name
Perhaps they don't want me to know about
for the
weather.
craft stashed in the desert.
There's no question in my mind. I mean, I'm virtually certain that's the way the craft
Stop buffering.
operated, and that uses close to or the exact same propulsion system.
Former Pentagon intelligence officer Lou Elizondo was in charge of ATIP, the secret Pentagon study. He told us one goal of the project was to determine the physics of UFOs, how they can achieve the seemingly impossible. The military came to believe
Like, why are the buffering tonight?
the craft relied on special metamaterials, stuff that can't be made with known
Can't be anything
technology.
else, can it? It's
Lazar
got to be-
made
and if
similar
there's no
claims
news
decades
for me,
ago and was ridiculed. Now
no propellers or anything like it's got to be.
the Pentagon is on the same page.
where the study of UFOs did not end in 1969 with Project Blue Book. In fact, that was a lie, and it is now an admitted lie by our own Pentagon. We are living in a world where it is understood that there are craft, technically advanced, from unknown origin that are performing maneuvers that far exceed anything
You know what the buffering is about tonight. Sorry about this.
of human technology. This has been going on a long time, and our government has been studying it.
George Knapp, 8 News Now.
As always, we have posted additional links and resources connected to this story on our website, including news reports from our archives.
This week in our series of reports on UFOs, we learned a number of things: that not everybody who sees a UFO is crazy, that our government has lied about UFO information, that it's withheld UFO files, and even spied
Hold on. Let me just stop this a minute.
on UFO witnesses.
Right. Now you just made a red flashing orb on another channel. there's a document I was reading today in them files from what the astronauts saw when they was going around or whatever, right? They said they saw a red flash, like flashing, like something flashing, like lights flashing. And when they looked, it was like a red light. So that's in the documents as well, about a red light being seen.
We've also heard from science elsewhere in the universe is virtually a certainty. Tonight, of his report, George Knapp introduces us to a local man with an amazing and disturbing story. George.
Gary and Mary Ruth.
I swear to God, I'm going to lose now because
So we've been working on this story for a long time, and we'll tell you right up front that it's going to be hard to swallow at first. This week, we've heard the contention of UFO researchers that there's a secret government within our government. While that may be hard from the UFO perspective, we've certainly learned in Watergate and the Iran-Contra scandal that factions within our government can and do pursue their own hidden agendas outside of the law.
I'll try and find that document in the documents.
All outside the control of Congress or the knowledge of the American people. This is exactly the type of operation we'll hear about tonight. It's a chilling scenario with worldwide implications. Roots right here.
Area 51, that mysterious corner of the Nevada test site, is no longer much of a secret. The fact that secretive things go on here is a given. The Soviets, who make daily spy flights over the facility to take a peek at what's going on. These photos, never before shown in public, are about as close
I've just found a video
as anyone ever come with the place buildings, a 3-mile-long runway, and some highly sophisticated over the years. Dreamland, the ranch, the Skunk Works. If ever there was a secret new technology, this here for.
I'd say some of these news clips are going back to the 70s, 80s maybe. Because it doesn't actually say. Right, let's hold on. Get the feck off. What am I looking for? Derek Van Shine. Right. Derek Van. Come on. Continue playing this.
Decades. Area 51 is where Francis Gary Powers and the other U-2 pilots were trained in the 50s, and where the U-2 itself was developed. The SR on spotted Soviet missiles in Cuba in the early 60s. Were also developed at 51. 50 populated desert mountains, and by populated desert expanses, the few people who do lust for the military, but they're conservative, patriotic, and they mind their own business. You ever see stuff you can't explain?
Sure. Just
Care to elaborate?
no.
Given night at the Rachel Bar and Grill, you might find 3 or 4 people wearing Budweisers and cowboy hats. You might find them, but they aren't going to talk to you, not about the things they've seen over the mountains. A steady trickle of curiosity seekers flows through here, strangers drawn by strange stories of light in the sky. Their questions also unanswered. No one who's worked at Dreamland has ever publicly acknowledged what so many people have said for years, that alien technology being tested in the
Lazar made similar claims decades ago and was ridiculed. Now the Pentagon is the same page.
Kids go me.
Study of UFOs did not 69 lie, and it is an admitted lie by our own Pentagon. We are living in a world where it is understood that there are craft technologically advanced
But I'll tell you something as well. Some of the
unknown origin that are performing maneuvers that far exceed anything human technology. This has been going on a long time, and our government has been studying it.
George Knapp, 8 News Now.
The names, the addresses, the phone numbers, none of it was redacted.
We have posted additional links and resources to this story on our website, including news reports from us.
This week in our series of reports on UFOs, we learned a number of things. Not everybody who sees a UFO is crazy. The government has lied about UFO information, that it's withheld UFO files, and in the universe is virtually a certainty. And we heard the majority of Americans believe UFOs are.
Stop. No, it's no secret. They put it out in that area. Okay. No, it's no secret no more. We always Area 51. Getting all up. loads to do today. So, I'm sorry about you. Why haven't you about it? I'd say this is in the 70s. With flips. This is mad when they say they can only respond only in a closed briefing. Why? Why can't the public know? Just get my book out and hold on. Hold on. No, no. Hold on. Say. Come on, you stupid. Right, take that out there. Let's get the mouse to work. Right. The sound there, so hopefully they should get the sound back now. understand. Right. Right, what if this? Right, okay, so hold on. I'll go out of this and then hopefully we'll get the sound. Can you hear me though? Come on, close the window. Leave. Thank you. Can you hear me though? Because if not, I don't know what's going on because both my mics are working. Come on. Actually. Oh. I'm going to say, yeah, because I'm coming up on here. Yeah, that's okay then. Let me know if you can hear. Okay. It's a control thing. That's why I don't want the public to know. It's a control thing. Right, hold on. I've got to get back up on this. Oh, come on. Come on.
Mechanism. It's a bizarre technology. There's no physical hookup between any of the systems in there. They use gravity as a wave, using waveguides. Almost like.
What was that program again? You said to watch on. Oh, wait. And if I scroll back up in the comments, I had trouble getting back down. So what was that program again, Neuro, you said to watch? Oh, Bob Laser story, yeah. There's one. I don't watch them. My daughter watches all them Marvel films because of her son. And my son watches them because he's into it himself, so I'm not. give me a good crime drama or good crime film. Some of that red stuff and the pew-pews going. I've got it here. It's on Prime. Yeah, I reached it down last night, didn't I? That's it. Oh, come on.
It took a while, Lazar says, before he actually saw one of the flying discs. However, there were hints everywhere.
Right, they had a poster, and it looked like a commercial poster almost, like it was lithographed and you could buy it at a Kmart or something, but they were all over the place, and it had the disc that I...
This is an 89 interview.
Coined the term the sport model, was lifted off the ground about 3 feet at area S4 on the dry lake there, and the caption on the bottom said they're here. And those are just all over the place.
Later, he got to see the real thing.
When I was let in, it was the first time I saw the sport model in the hangar, sitting down, and told they could have walked me in the front, but they purposely wanted to walk me by. I was not saying anything and just keep my eyes forward and walk past the disc into the office. And I did, and
I talked to my son. I said, was it you who mentioned when we were talking once about the COVID and all that? He said, wasn't it you? He said, you can see in a couple of years' time or a couple of months' time that they're going to bring something else out. He said, yeah. He said, I said it after we come out of lockdown, which would have been 2021, 22 time. Right? And he agrees with me. He had 3 of those jabs. I had 4. My daughter had 3 or 4. My daughter, 33, she's got heart trouble. She's on medication now for life. My son, stroke. He's on medication now for the rest of his life. Me, cancer. You know what I mean? And I said, well, I'm not going to jab me again with any of those stupid anti-whatever. You got to take this, otherwise you can't fly. I won't fly. I don't like flying anyway, so... you know what I mean?
on it, just to run it alongside the thing, and you know, that was about the smallest time. After that, I got to see it actually lift off the ground and operate.
But you also, in between that, you saw more than one.
Yeah. The hangars are all connected together, and there are large bay doors between each one. And there were 9 total that I saw, each one being different. Like they had the assortment pack.
Security at S4 was oppressive, Lazar says, and his superiors used fear and intimidation almost as a brainwashing tool.
Did everything but physically hurt me.
Put a gun to your head?
Yeah.
And said what? Actually put a gun to your head?
Well, they did that even in the original security briefings. They had.
I'm not worried about that rat virus.
Guards there with M16s. The guys slamming their finger into my chest, screaming in my ear. Some people pointing weapons at me. Like I said, it's not a good place to work.
That fear factor would surface later. Lazar agreed to undergo a polygraph exam as part of this report. Polygrapher Ron Slay asked about the technology Lazar had seen.
Did you knowingly lie when you said you had actually seen anti-gravity? gravity propulsion in operation.
Now,
The results of this exam were inconclusive. Lazar appeared to be truthful on one test, deceitful on a second. Slay recommended that a second examiner be brought in. Polygrapher Terry Tavernetti runs a corporate security operation and is a former Los Angeles police officer. He put Lazar through 4 tests and concluded there was no attempt to deceive.
And I left there thinking that I feel we do have some credibility to what the subject had to say. And that's when I went to some of my colleagues.
Tavernetti sent the test results for agreed appear truthful. The charge.
Neuro. I've just pulled it up on my Prime, and they've got Bob Laser S4 or the Bob Laser video UFOs in Area 51, the Bob Laser video, or Area 51 aliens, UFOs, Bob Laser and advanced technology, or Dreamland 1998. I think I might be watching them all. I was had a lab with a virus stored in it, disappeared. A Chinese man left the cruise 31st March. China covered up rat virus at airport a few months ago. It's a bit like the COVID virus. Some posted it on X several years ago, 2020 COVID 2026 rat virus. Well, I remember that being S4, okay? So that's the one. I'll just set up ready. I'll pause it from now. Right. So I heard about that thing, but they covered it up about the COVID because I was watching newsreels and everything then. I don't watch the mainstream media news no more. I don't. Right. And you're seeing people in China collapsing on the floor and all that. I'm thinking, fuck's sake. But what I want to know is how did it, well, you just gave me the answer. How did it get on the ship? And my son said that, and I said, well, don't forget, it only needs one person to have this virus. Go on a ship, then you've got that, the air ventilation is like in hospitals. Goes from all around the ship, right? So if there's someone with this virus in one cabin, the air ventilation is going to carry it around the ship. Bit like on a plane. It's going to carry it around the plane. Bit like in hospitals, it carries it around through their air circulation things. And it is, because I seen videos yesterday of MPs and whatever in one country standing there with no PPE on, no masks on, right next to a coach where the doors are open, full of these potential victims of the rat virus. Then you're seeing people with full PPE on, masks, and then alongside them, you've seen people without PPE on and just a mask. I'm thinking, what the fuck's going on? If this is so bad, should you not all have PPE on? Should you not all be wearing masks? So it's all propaganda. You put me off with, well, it's like going on a plane. It's the air is circulated. And in hospitals, the air is circulated. That's why, like, I hated being in hospitals. When I had to have my operation, I was nearly in tears because they told me I could come home the same day as my operation. Then I found out I had to stay in overnight. And then the next day, they go, your oxygen levels are a bit low. I went, whoa, what? You're not keeping me in no longer. We'd advise you just to take a walk up and down the corridor to get the oxygen circulating, right? So I was literally up and down them fucking corridors. You're not keeping me in no longer than necessary. And when the head nurse come to me, my daughter was there by that time, and she's talking to me, and I'm listening to her. And said, "Have you got any questions?" I said, "Yes." "Can I go home now?" And she said, "I know you've been so anxious about wanting to get home." I went, "Yes, I just want to go home because I don't like hospitals." You know what I mean? You don't know what you're going to catch when you're in a hospital. So I was out of the hospital. As soon as she said yeah, I went, "Right, Dee, I'm going to get dressed." Right? And I went and got dressed. Come back out. I said, "Grab my bag. We're out of here." And I was gone. I was out of that hospital. I've worked in hospitals. I know what the cleaning standards are like in some hospitals. I used to go and visit people in hospital, and I'd be checking under the bed for dust. I'd be checking the soap dispensers for the grime that built up around. You know, when you put your hand under and the soap comes out, the grime inside builds up. If they don't clean that, that's bacteria coming out onto your hand. I hate to tell everyone this, but be very careful. Use your own sanitizer. Take your own sanitizer into a hospital if you've got to go into a hospital. Use your own. When I found out my son had had a stroke, I had sanitizer in my bag. I brought some on the way home. Popped it, only a little one. Popped it in my bag, got to the hospital and said, "Please sanitize." I went, "Okay, get my sanitizer out." "I'll use my own, thank you very much. I don't trust them dispensers. Because if you're not cleaning around the nozzle on the inside, that's bacteria building up." But I'll check the soap dispensers. I'll be looking under the bed for dust. Moving. I'll go, "Hold on, I'm just going to, oh, it's just behind this. You know them cupboards, those units you have by this? It's just behind there." Honest. And I'd actually tell the staff, I say, "Can you get your cleaner in?" I said, "Because it's just behind that unit. It's not been pulled out. It's not been cleaned." "When was the bed last pulled out and cleaned behind?" "Because there's dust all under that bed." And they'd look at me to say, "How the hell would you know that?" And I'd turn around and say, "I used to work in a hospital as a cleaner, so I know what I'm looking for." I said, "And those soap dispensers, get them to clean them as well because they're disgusting." Honest, you don't want to know about hospitals that I know. The cleaners, like, I would get I remember once I was going, "Oh, where's Angela gone? Where's Angela gone?" And there's me on my hands and knees on the floor, wiping all the frame of this one bed down. Right? Now, I was in the side ward, which was known as the red ward, highly contagious. Right? Quite contagious in there. Right? So you'd have to go in, fully masked up and all that lot. And I'd be on my hands and knees, wiping the bed frames down on every bed. This one guy had been in that ward for coming on 8 weeks. And I was cleaning his all round by his bed. And I said to him, "Do you ever get out your bed?" He said, "Yeah, I can get out my bed." I said, "Well, yeah." I said, "Could you do me a favour?" I said, "Tomorrow morning when I come in." I said, "Could you get out of bed and just sit on the chair there?" He said, "Yeah, why?" I said, "So I can pull the bed out and clean behind it." And his family said to me, "You're the only one I have seen who's cleaned all under his bed, all round his bed, in his units, everywhere. Even the rails for the curtains, even there. I worked from there down, right, to the floor." Within 2 weeks, he made such a remarkable come back. I went, yeah, because his bed area was all clean. He's sleeping in grime. There's grime all around him. No one was thinking of that. So yeah, be careful when you're in hospitals, everyone. Try not to be in there longer. Any longer than you need to.
And sent fourth examiner who did not agree, suggesting Lazar might be relating information he'd learned from someone else. The polygraphers conferred and decided they would not issue a final statement on truthfulness until more specific testing can be conducted, and that's where it stands. Tavernetti believes that difficulty in determining Lazar's truthfulness stems from the fear that was drilled into him.
I think we're talking about a subject here that is so far-reaching, and it is so emotional. And when you're dealing with emotions, this is polygraph, because we're dealing in polygraph, you're looking at fear. The fear of getting caught telling a lie because something bad will happen to you if you do.
Well, I am telling the truth. I've tried to prove that. What's going on up there could be the most important event in history. You're talking about contact, physical contact and proof from another system, another planet, another intelligence. That's got to be the biggest event in history, period.
And it's real.
And it's real, and it's there. And I had an extremely small part in it, but I'm convinced that what I saw is absolute. That there is no way we could have created those systems.
You imagine seeing what he's seen, right? And then you've got to sit down and take a polygraph. Your head is telling you, I'm going to tell the truth, but they're going to think I'm crazy. Right? So that thought of being looked on as being crazy is going through your head. All the time that you're answering these questions and you're being tested. That thought, I'm telling the truth, but they're going to think I'm crazy. And that's why sometimes it will come up as a positive, he's telling the truth. Sometimes it will come up as a negative because that thought is in his head. They're going to think I'm crazy. I'm telling the truth, but they're going to think I'm crazy.
There's no way we could have made the discs, the power supplies, anything to go with them.
Lazar says he has no intention of going on any UFO lecture circuit. He's not looking to do any additional interviews. In fact, he wasn't too crazy about doing this one. He did it after certain unfavorable things started happening in his life, and he did it because he feels that whoever is running the show up at S4 is perpetrating a fraud on the American people and the scientific community.
Well, I'll tell you, this is a true story. I was doing the lunches in the hospital, so I wasn't allowed to do any of the yellow bins. I could do the black bins, but I couldn't touch the yellow bins. I couldn't go in any of that one side room ward, which we called was the red side room. Couldn't go in there. And there's a room where it had a patient in there with TB. Now you go in and you go into this one little room first, you get all ganged up, right? You go in then, you do what you got to do and you come out. All your cleaning equipment is in that room. You do not bring any other cleaning equipment in, nothing, mops, nothing. Well, you can bring in the clean mop heads and that's it, right? I stood there serving lunch, right? And the nurse and staff would take the lunches then to each ward, each bag. As I'm doing, I've seen this one young girl going in that room with the vacuum that is used on all the other bays. And then I seen her come out with it. So she was coming down towards me, and I collared her. I said, what was you doing with the vacuum in that room? She said, I was just cleaning it. I said, you're not supposed to take that vacuum in there. Now, I've got to take that apart, take it down to this wherever, and have that vacuum ripped apart. The filter's got to come out of it. The bags have got to come out of it. The brushes, everything's got to be clean. All new on there now. She said, what? I said, because that guy you just went into has TB. If I use that vacuum on any of these everybody's now, I could spread that round. No, it's not that. Yes. And I literally strapped it up, marked it up, red tape. Do not use. Needs to be, what's the name? Being used in a red zone. I was fuming. For fuck's sake, it even says, do not bring any equipment into this area. Right? So if there isn't a vacuum in that room when you go in, you don't use a vacuum in it. You use the mop, and you use it like a duster first on the floor to get all the dust up. Then you go over with a wet mop head, because we had these like stick-on mops that you could just rip off and then put in the wash and whatever. Brilliant. I love them mops. Right? So I said, if there's no vacuum in that room, you don't vacuum. Oh. I said, yeah. Oh. I said, well, don't worry. You'll be going back for your training again, won't you? Because I will not be having you back up on this ward. I will tell them I will not have you back up on this ward. I said, you can't say that. I said, yes, I fucking can. And at the end of the day, when I went to clock out, I went, oh, by the way, the young, because she finished at 2 o'clock, at 1 o'clock. That's where she was going. When I collared her, she was clocking up. I went finished at 2. And I said, oh, by the way, that young girl that was on the ward with me today, I said, don't put her back on the ward with me again. Why? I said, because she took a vacuum into a room, a side room, where the guy had TB. Oh. Yes. Oh. Do not put her on that ward again. In fact, can you put her through training again? Because she obviously didn't learn feck all the first time. I was really strict with everything. No, they don't listen and they don't read. So, it's like when my dad was in hospital, I was looking under the bed. Everything. To make sure it was clean under his bed. And if it wasn't, I was reporting it to the staff, the nursing staff. I'd go, have you got any cleaners here still? Because I knew they all finished around about 2. So if they said yes, I said, well, can you ask one of them to come in and clean under his bed, please? If the soap dispenser, I don't know, soap dispenser up, if it is all minging inside, running also, I go, can you have a cleaner, open that dispenser up and clean all inside and put a new soap in, please? They used to hate me going in these wards because I knew what I was looking for. Yeah, it's not good. If you're ever in the hospital visiting anyone, family member or anyone, and you see dust under the bed, at the back of that cupboard, open up the soap dispenser. It's so easy. You just click it at the bottom and it flops open. Should just flop open. Right? And check the nozzle. Because I tell you now, I bet you they're not cleaning around them nozzles of them soap dispensers. They just go in, put a new soap dispenser thing in, voila, done. So, let's go on.
We intend to have much more about this story, about the operation on Monday and beyond. This is by no means the end of this series of reports. In fact, on Monday, including in our story there, support testimony from other people who say they have knowledge of the flying discs at the test site, and information from people who know Lazar very well and insist his story is true.
If indeed they have these flying saucers, George, it seems like it would be really hard to keep it so secret.
Well, yeah, it would seem that way, except for as Lazar asked his superiors up there, they say it's the easiest secret in the world to keep. It's leaked out many times before and nobody believes it.
What's the Navy saying about all of this?
Well, of course, the Navy is supposed to have been his employer, and we have put some fairly pointed questions to them. Of course, number one, it may not be the Navy at all. Information is so compartmentalized up there, no one is exactly sure who is in charge. We have put the questions to several Navy departments. The answers thus far are unsatisfactory.
I would like, if that had been my dad on his own, and a cleaner come in and done that, I've gone, well, when he first come in, I've gone, okay, Dad, I'll be back in about 20 minutes when the cleaner's finished in here. And if she turned around to me and said, oh, I'll be finished in about 5, I'll go, no, you won't. No, you won't, love. 15, 20 minutes to clean this room. You've got to pull that unit out, clean all behind there, clean all under his bed, even if it means getting on your hands and fecking his and cleaning the frame of the bed. And that's before you even touch the rest of the floor. Don't forget the curtain and rail, by the way. You know what I mean? I just said that to him. And if they said, you can't tell me what to do, I'll say, okay, let's speak to your superiors, shall we? Because the mops are supposed to use, like, you know, those mops you can buy in the shops where you just stick onto the base, yeah? They're not like the floppy mops, you know what I mean? Not like them grubby, grimy mops you used to have. And in the hospital, when I worked, now I'm going back, my kids were still at school when I worked in the hospitals. So when you think about it, and you had all these clean cloths, and you think, how many bays have you got to do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many beds in each bay? 6. So there's 6 5s, 35. You need 35 clean cloths. A clean cloth for around every floor cloth for around every bed. How many hand cloths do we need? Well, we got to clean all the bed frame down, underneath it, around the back of it. You've got to clean along the back of the cupboards. If you can get behind the bed, then right behind the bed. You know what I mean? So you had to have loads of cloths on you. And then each bed, when you finished around one bed, you take that floor cloth off, pop it into like a bag, and then you go to the next bed, pop a new one on. And every time you went to a new bed, you take the old gloves off on that bed and put new gloves on. Good, good. Yeah, the water should never ever be dirty. Right? Because the system, I think the system they had was, like, you know, you can buy these mops now, and you put it in one section, and it squeezes all the dirty water off, yeah? Then you put it in the next section, which is clean water, to wet it again, yeah? It's a bit like that. You never put that cloth into dirty water and then back on the floor. Never. So remember that, everyone. If you've got people in hospitals, look around the beds. Under the beds, around the beds, the frame of the beds. Everywhere. Because I can assure you they won't do it properly. Because they don't think they think, oh, they won't know. They won't know that we have it cleaned under the bed or behind that unit. Well, you know now. Ask them. Tell them to clean it.
apply Freedom of Information Act, and that information will be revealed on Monday as well.
You believe his story, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I've got to know him pretty well over the last couple of months, and I believe he's telling the truth.
Fascinating stuff. Thanks,
George.
George. Former government scientist has alleged that the U.S. military is flying recovered UFOs at a secret base in the Nevada desert. The allegations about the secret facility near the Groom Mountains first surfaced on Eyewitness News last Friday.
Scientist Bob Lazar says there are at least 9 of the flying saucers being tested and that they were not built on Earth. George Knapp has more in the continuation of our series on UFOs.
Yeah, well, it's obvious it came from somewhere else other than Earth.
Scientist Bob Lazar is convinced that the technology he saw being tested at a secret base in the Nevada desert is of alien origin. And for Lazar, the proof is at least partially in the furniture. One of the 9 flying discs he says he saw at the base, which was designated S4, looks exactly like this UFO photographed in Europe. Lazar called it the sport model.
I gave everything simple names. There's the top hat one, and the Jello mold, and the sport model operated without any hitches at all. I mean, it looked new. If I know what a new flying saucer looks like. One of them looked like it was hit with some sort of projectile. It had a large hole in the bottom and a large hole in the top with the metal bent out like some sort of, large caliber 4 or 5 inch projectile had gone through it.
Even before he saw the sport model operate, Lazar says he suspected that the ship came from somewhere else. The realization slapped him in the face the first time he glimpsed the inside of the disc.
I got to look inside, and it had really small chairs, and I think that was the first confirmation I had. That was just a shocking thing, because every time before that I was able to label it, well, this is just a little advance that a group of scientists had formed, and they're keeping it secret, and yeah, we could have built a big disc like that, that's no problem, and we could have adapted these to make it fly, but why does it have little furniture inside, essentially little seats, and things began to click together just all too fast.
A few of the discs had been completely dismantled to find out how they worked, Lazar says, but others were fully operational. A Japanese TV network created this animated version of Lazar's story after his first interview with us aired in May. Lazar says the dramatization is similar to a test flight he witnessed.
Sorry about this. Thank you why he's doing this for me.
The bottom of it began to hiss like high voltage on a round sphere. It's my impression that the reason that they're round and have no sharp edges is to contain the high voltage, like you've seen on high voltage system insulators. Things are round, or else you get a corona discharge. In either case, it began to hiss as voltage, and it lifted off the ground quietly, except with that little hiss in the background, and then that stopped as soon as it reached about 20-30 feet.
Lazar says the test of the sport model was a short one, that it made only a few moves before setting back down. He didn't see who was actually flying the craft, but was very impressed nonetheless.
Well, there's no action-reaction system to it. There's no, like in a jet engine, exhaust gas being thrown out, no propeller, no noise. It's just...
They all said that when they've said
for all intents and purposes,
magic. 4 foot tall.
To Lazar's knowledge, the flying discs are not being used for, say, any flights to Jupiter. He says excessive caution and intense secrecy contributed to the plodding pace of the program and were main source of his disenchantment.
It's just unfair, outright, not to put it in the hands of the overall scientific community. There are people that are much more capable of dealing with this information, and by this time would have gotten a lot further along than this select group, little people, select small group of people working out in the middle of the desert. They don't even have the facilities really to completely analyze what they're dealing with.
Well, he was being quiet, and if he kept me abreast of anything, he kept me abreast of the security checks. They'd randomly drop by his house. They threatened his wife. They threatened his wife's life. They had done all that, so we really didn't converse. I mean, he really was adhering to the program.
Gene Huff is a Las Vegas real estate appraiser, a regular guy who just happens to have a friend in the flying saucer business. He learned about Lazar's S4 experiences only after a long period. Lazar is anxious for people to know that he didn't just run right out and spill the secrets of the universe, and that some things are properly kept confidential.
I did not believe that this should be a security matter. Some of it, sure. But just the concept that there's definite proof, and we even have articles from another world, another system. You just can't not tell everyone. A lot of people don't believe that. But I do.
Yeah.
When he reached what felt like his bursting point, he took Huff and a few others to the edge of the Groom Mountains to see the flights for themselves. A total of 5 witnesses on 2 consecutive weeks managed to dodge security patrols long enough to see the strange glowing object lift above the mountains.
It came up above the same mountain. It moved around. It did a step move. It actually went up in the air like this and hovered, then dropped way down. Then it just floated around and cruised around, and then it started coming up the mountain range.
This home videotape was recorded during one of the trips to the Groom Mountains.
No, what? Did you see that move it did?
No, I didn't.
It went like it went boom, boom. Wow, look how bright it's getting. Look at it now. Getting bright. Not
Here,
bright enough for me to get the son of a bitch.
Here, hold on, right here.
Sorry. For some reason it's buffering tonight. Could be the weather.
Are you there? No. It's bright right now.
Admittedly, the tape proves very little by itself because with the distance and darkness, there are no reference points other than the alleged flying disc. But Lazar information at the time of the test.
Now you see how that you got that one light? Remember we talked about that time when I was going in Glasgow at the hospital, and I couldn't sleep one night, and I went down outside, and I stood there and I seen this light, and I thought it was a star because I thought, God, that's bright. And it was coming close, and I thought, that ain't a star. Is that a falling satellite? Like a meteor or something? Because it's coming closer. And then it's like I seen a row, like you got that one light there, but it was that bright, it seemed like a long row of lights, but curving. So it's like the belly was coming upwards a bit. Sort of thing, as I say, the belly of it was coming up because you could see like an arch of lights. And no one believes me when I tell them about it. But that's just like what I saw until it got
Lights proved correct, not once, twice. That, according to our off-camera interview with each of the other witnesses. Gene Huff described his second sighting.
The telescope we had seen, it was an elliptically shaped light. You know, that's about, because you can only get so close, even with a telescope, to a secure facility. Anyway, it came by up by us very rapidly. It glowed and glowed brighter like a sun, and we almost got the feeling it was going to explode. It glowed so bright, and we backed up behind the car. Then it went down, and it glowed back up a little bit, and very softly glided back where the mountains where it came up, hovered for a while, just like
Lazar is the only person.
That's why I say these other form of life, right? They're not gonna harm us because they're sitting in their little whatever, their big whatever. Might look little to us, but they're probably fucking big. And going, look at those stupid idiots. They're killing each other. They're killing their wound. They're ripping it apart. They're putting viruses out there to kill the people off. You know what I mean? They're just sitting there letting us get on with it because it's like they don't need any help from us. They're doing it themselves. And as I said, if there's going to cause any harm, don't you think they're doing something by now? Right, we're going back to 1947 in them documents. And it's now 2026. So
The name inside of the flying discs at the test site. He's just the only person to say so publicly. We have communicated with several people who say they know of the saucer program.
A technician in a highly sensitive position told us it is, quote, common knowledge among those with high security clearances that recovered alien discs are stored at the Nevada test site.
A Las Vegas professional who once served in the military and was stationed at the test site says he saw a flying disc land outside the boundaries of Area 51, that it was quickly surrounded by security personnel, and that he was taken away and debriefed for several hours. A man who once worked at Groom Lake as a technician, at our request, wrote this letter explaining how he inadvertently walked into the wrong hangar and saw what appeared to be a large metallic disc under a tarp. It was being examined by men in lab coats. And an airman who worked at Nellis at a radar installation says he and his fellow servicemen watched over a period of 5 nights unusual objects flying over the Groom Mountains. He says the radar images indicate the object zoomed into range at speeds of 7,000 miles per hour and then would stop on a dime, and that nothing we have is capable of doing that. The airman says that when word of his sighting got out, he was ordered to turn off his radar sensors for that area and told to keep quiet about the matter because it did not happen.
None of this means that the military is actually flying alien spacecraft in the Nevada desert. It could all perhaps be explained to some other secret program. Lazar insists that's the case. We put them at the U.S. Navy, which
got them stealthy planes years ago. How they say, when people say they've seen these flying objects and whatever, they go, oh, that's the stealth, that's a new stealth plane that we're building and we're testing it out. You know what I mean? I remember something like that being said. It's the new stealth planes that we're building and we're just testing them out.
Lazar is running the show. 4 different naval offices were contacted. All denied having any information in their files. The Naval Research Lab said it conducted a thorough search but found zip. Naval Intelligence said much the same thing, adding it is not required to create a file where one doesn't exist. A side note, we also requested files on a UFO sighting over Tremonton, Utah in 1952. The Navy spent more than 1,000 hours studying film of that sighting, a fact that's been noted in several publications. But for purposes of our request, the Navy couldn't find those files either.
The group that runs this project, whether it really is the Navy or they just say that, apparently these people have executive power. They don't report to anyone.
Tomorrow, more troubling allegations about the military potential of alien technology. George Knapp, Eyewitness News 8.
That film, Neuro, I have to pay for that one. So I'm going to watch the UFOs in Area 51, the Bob Laser video. That one I can watch for free. Right, but the one you said to watch, I have to pay for. I'm thinking, I'm not paying for it. I'm paying up to Prime. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's convenient, isn't it? But now all these files are coming out. And as I said, I did read some excerpts from what pilots had said they'd seen, like the astronauts. They've seen like this flashing light. And when they've looked out, they've seen like a red light. I don't know what's going on here. So, yeah, he's the whistleblower. Is he still alive? Oh, yeah, I'm going to see. Is Bob still alive? Yes, he's still alive. He currently lives a low-profile life in Michigan and continues to assert the truth of his claims regarding extraterrestrial technology. Recently, he has been involved in discussions about UFOs and has released updates on his experience. But the fact that they even denied he worked at that one place and then they said, oh yeah, he did work here for a short while. It's ridiculous. And it's like just a control thing all the time. Oh, they're not ready to know about this. Well, why are you ready then to know about it? We're not ready. Why are you? You know what I mean? But I'll have to watch that interview as well by Barack Obama. Because I've heard about it, but I haven't actually seen it, so I will watch it. Yeah, tell us about 1989. You tell us. I'm quite surprised he's still alive, being as he's a whistleblower. But wasn't General McCaslin approached by someone? And he said he wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? It's just so strange that you've got all these missing and unalive scientists who are at the peak of their career and also retired. Right, you know what I mean? Well, one of them's retired. But the one scientist I do understand why, but he worked in the area of finding cures for cancer. And I said, yeah, because if he found a cure for cancer, that's going to put a lot of companies out of business. So they're not going to want his reports put out there, his findings put out there, or anything. Because people are going to go, well, if he's found a cure, why aren't we using it? Because they're too busy putting out viruses and whatever. So, please tell us about 18. I keep saying 18. Tell us about 1989, because I'm not paying $7.99 to watch it. I know it's not a lot, but I'm not paying it. But I've got the other one up, UFOs in Area 51, the Bob Lazar video and excerpts from. How is it possible to travel vast distances of space without exceeding the speed of light? What is the power source for interstellar travel? Government whistleblower Bob Lazar shatters this cloak of secrecy surrounding whatever. So that Bob got sacked, and they released stuff about tech, i.e. that interview. NBA, lot of UK scientists I also died. That keyboard freezing up. That's okay. Oh yeah, 89 was the year when a lot of scientists died, wasn't it? Yeah. UK scientists died, yeah. But this rat virus, right? I was seeing something today, just before coming live. I was going through my YouTube thing, and there's no new cases apparently in the UK. I mean, because we're not falling for your shit no more, that you think, oh shit, that we can't do this again. They're not going to fall for it. No, we're not. We're not falling for it again. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that was a lot of the UK side. Hold on. Come on. Right, so I'm going to leave it there, because anything else is going to take up to 3 hours. And you know what? Bobby, my one cat, gave up on me last night, went to bed. And then there's some stuff on my bed, because yesterday I've been moving wardrobes around. So I took all my stuff out of my wardrobe to move this other wardrobe in, and this other little wardrobe that went with it into my room, and put my wardrobe in the kids' room. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the bar out and put some shelves in. And then I'm going to put all their little toys, like the cars and the whatever like that, in there. All the arts and crafts in these 3 drawers below. Right? And have it as a toy cupboard for them. But last night, there's just a few little things on my bed, which I've now sorted out this morning. I just put them in this wash basket, like my empty wash basket that I use to take my washing from the bedroom to the kitchen, and then to take it outside to hang up. And I've just placed it all in there. And he just sat there looking at me. And then when I went to get into bed, I went, you're going to have to move your butt, you fat fecker. I can't get my legs in the bed. He got up and gave me such a filthy look. I thought, yeah. Something big we'll discover in 989. But Bob never disclosed. Something people discovered in 1989, but Bob never disclosed. I wonder what it was. Yeah, there must be. It could be anti-gravity, because how else? Now, you see these, what they're called, Tic Tacs or whatever, right? And people have sightings of seeing summer, and there's no fumes from it, no propellers, no engine sound of engines or anything going by. And now you hear planes go by. Yeah? So it's got to be something to do with the anti-gravity. And I think that's probably what it was. Perhaps it was getting close to it. Yeah, there has to be clues, Anne. And I think these scientists were, I'm sure it was the general that got approached. Who said that the general got approached? Did someone on here say it? Was it you, Nero? Or did I read it somewhere, hear it somewhere else? But apparently he got approached and he said no. No to him. Right? But I literally scrolled through everything I could find today on YouTube, in between doing my gardening and everything. And I just come across that Bob Lazar story. I forgot that was the one you told me about. The Sackelsons at the base must have been top secret, not share retech or weapons. You read it. The Sackelsons at the base must have been top secret, not share retech or weapons. He must have known something. But for him still to be alive, that's a miracle on its own. I'm not the only one that heard it then. So, and as I said, there is another video, but we can watch that on Thursday when I'm back on. And that was an interesting one to watch. I was watching it on TV before, and I've just downloaded it now. And it was talking about, what was it talking about? I think Bob Lazar is talking about him and about these other scientists that have gone missing or come up unalive. And it's too much of a coincidence that they've got all these scientists that are coming up either dead or missing. Something's going on. Are they being approached and they're saying no, like I heard about the general, and that's probably why he's gone into hiding, right? Or they took him into hiding. He's told the US about it, and they put him into hiding. But they made it look like he's just gone for a hike. It's a bit like that other woman who went missing, and they've got her on camera walking past this one house with a rucksack on, as though she's going for a hike. She's supposed to be at home working. So why would she be going for a hike? Plus, they don't take the phones with them, the watches with them. So, I think they've been put into, because they are very secretive about what they do, right? And I know if they put these people into witness protection or somewhere safe, they're not going to, they can't tell anyone. They can't tell the wives, they can't tell the family. And if they've been threatened, if they, perhaps a threat came towards his wife as well, because she was an astronaut. She's trained up to be an astronaut and all that, yeah. That lot. So perhaps I threatened his wife. But like those who've been, and it's like that one guy who reported that man with the gun by his property. He gets arrested, then 11 days later he comes back and shoots him. They're trying to say, well, he came back because he believed that Bob Gilmore, or Gilmore, whatever, he was the one who reported him to the police. But it wasn't. I went, nah. Nah. He was there before with a gun. Right? So what was he doing at his house outside his house in the first place with a gun? Now, this guy lived in the middle of nowhere, in the desert. It wasn't like Nancy Grace where you did have neighbours across the road or neighbours next to you sort of thing. Right? There was no one. There was neighbours around there, but not close by. Yeah, Annie will find the truth. Annie will dig it out. I don't think Annie sleeps. I don't. I think she's working her little heart off. Her little fingers are tapping all night long. But why would you go back? Knowing that he'd already called, if you believed he'd already phoned the police on you the first time, why would you go back a second time? You wouldn't, would you? But it's like, I think it's like, you know, you get these sleepers. I think there's sleepers out there. And I don't believe that Amy Erskine, she didn't kill herself. She told friends weeks before she would not do that. So for her to come up dead and then her family believe it is a suicide. What are they scared of? What are they scared of? Right? But there's another woman whose parents believe she was part of this assassinations and their daughter had been having an affair with a senator. The senator lost his job when it all came out. I said, she wasn't killed or anything because of anything to do with the UFOs. She wasn't. She was took out, a bit like Marilyn Monroe and whatever, because of bedroom talk. Pillow talk. Right? That's why she was took out, if anything. I think these scientists were being threatened. Well, we know Amy was. She said herself, she said, I've got to disclose soon, I've got to disclose. She said, and then she goes on, did she not listen to us? We warned her 3 years ago. We would kill her. You know what I mean? And then you got these other people going, just disclose, just disclose. But then on the other hand, you got people saying, don't disclose because you will die. So, but I think those with families, she worked closely with her father, Amy did. So perhaps he's saying, oh, she committed suicide just to brush it under the carpet because perhaps I've been threatened. You know what I mean? But you see, the thing is, when it gets onto the internet, when it gets onto YouTube, there's people who will not let this go. I can, because I'll be going back to Sebastian very soon. But right at the moment, I'm Just having a break from Sebastian. I got to do some research on him. A bit more research. Watch a few more videos and whatever. And I just find this very intriguing at the moment. The whole scientists going missing and coming up on alive. Then you've got the UFO documents being released and how they fobbed them off. Continuously just fobbed them off. And then if they said, oh, well, we saw an FBI agent in the area that this unidentified flying object was seen. Oh, well, that's just to see. They're just seeing if they broke any federal laws. How stupid was that? Just they just wanted to know if these aliens had broken any federal laws. Get the fuck. But they just fobbed off time and time and time again. And then there's that one where they've got this disc thing, and they said, if such and such isn't interested, then you might as well just dispose of it. So why are you telling them to dispose of it but you're keeping the pictures? If it's of no interest to you, why did you keep the pictures she sent you? Why didn't you dispose of the pictures? Because they want the information, but they don't want anyone else to take the credit. They want to take the credit. UFO speeding. Trafficking. They're going across state lines, county lines, whatever. They're going across something, aren't they? So, but that was so... when I read that, I thought, oh my God. Just wanted to know if they violated any FBI, any federal laws. Christ's sake. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight, Annie and Euro. And if you watched to the end, thank you. If you're watching on replay, that is. And I will see you on Thursday now. I won't be on tomorrow night, I'll be on Thursday. Because my son-in-law, my daughter's partner, is coming over tomorrow night to start putting the posts in. And he wants to put the posts in, let that set, and then he can put the panels on. So, that's what he's doing tomorrow night, hopefully. So, until then, until I see you next time, stay safe and be careful. Once again, thank you all for being here. Please hit that like button. And please, if you really like what you're hearing, hit the subscribe to be updated on every live that goes out and every video that I do release. Until then, well, I've just got to check my messages up here. Right. Until then, stay safe.
No, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up. No, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up. No, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last, and to believe in